Hello everyone, welcome back to Hermione's Horror Reviews. So I'm going to kind of change my intro a little bit on here by just saying, if you like this kind of video content, please leave a like and subscribe buttons down below. It helps my channel grow. So on this channel, I talk about a wide variety of horror-related items, related things. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the show Sleepy Hollow. Now, before I begin, I want to say this. I have never watched the show. Now, rephrase that, I watched the pilot episode, but overall, I believe all 4 seasons, I never watched them. So Sleepy Hollow was around apparently for 4 seasons, and it was about this man called Ichabod Crane, who died during the American Revolutionary War, and he is resurrected in the modern world, and he essentially is a man out of time, and his fate is entwined with that of the Headless Horseman. And the Headless Horseman is a creature of pure evil. He is considered one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in this world, in this retelling of Washington Irving's most famous school teacher. But this one, he was a professor. He came over to the New World to aid the British, realized what was going on, did not like it, and decided to defect. And he became a spy for General Washington. One of the things that he is buried with is Washington's Bible. And when he comes back to life, of course, the police do not believe that he is who he claims to be, even though he passed this test, polygraph test. And yeah, so for people that are not, or people that really don't like religion in their stories, this show definitely would not have been for you. But this is a horror. This is horror. It's not, yes, it's a supernatural type of show, but at its core, it's horror. Because you have a headless horseman that's going around and chopping people's heads off for fun. Now, that's what dead people do. Get their head, they cut your head off. So, for Ichabod Crane and his new friend, who's I believe she's a lieutenant, they have to try to stop the Headless Horseman from doing what he does. So, as I said, I watched the pilot episode of the show, and I will be serious and absolutely honest here. I really wasn't interested in the show until I started diving into horror and basically deciding that, yeah, I'm going to watch horror, I'm going to read horror, I'm going to really try to figure out this genre and everything. And the actor who plays Ichabod Crane in the show, I don't know if that's his real accent or that is just how he was taught to speak, but he does a really great, as far as I can tell, a really great British accent, because you can tell that he's from Britain just by how he talks. He also appears that, or like the film the actor gives off, is that he's very educated and refined. And we find out that despite there being a Constitution and a Bill of Rights and and you can't burn people alive for witchcraft, in this world apparently there were witches that were still being burned at the stake in America, which is terrifying in itself. It absolutely is terrifying. So Ichabod has to try to navigate this new world that he's in with all the little traps and nuances that we are very well aware of. For example, is one of the scenes in the show when he first encounters the lieutenant is like, okay, he has no idea that people of color are no longer enslaved, and we find out that he actually is anti-slavery, and so that's also a shock for him. And I feel like that they work really well together in this one. And then you have the father who has this really wicked weapon. I mean, it sliced through metal, but unfortunately for poor him, his weapon is not effective against this thing that has risen out of the water, and he gets, of course, his head chopped off. And then we find out, like, there's definitely a lot of revelations in it, and for people that are not well aware of, the early church almost got rid of the book of Revelations, which would have saved us a lot of problems and a lot of headaches. But they talk about the two witnesses, and apparently the lieutenant is the first one, because when she was a little girl, when she was a little girl, an event happened that caused her sister to go mentally insane, and she is considered one of the witnesses, and then Ichabod is the second. So it's interesting how they put a new spin on Washington Irving's character of Ichabod Crane. Ichabod Crane was a school teacher. He goes and he falls in love with this girl who is way above his station, and of course he gets told the story about the Headless Horseman, and sure enough, the Headless Horseman appears, kills him, or supposedly kills him, and nobody ever sees him again. And of course, she ends up marrying the idiot that did it. So you have this character that is, tall and thin in Washington Irving's, pretty much, a hopeless romantic. But then you have this character of Ichabod Crane that was a professor, so he taught adults, but he's not goofy. I mean, he's love struck, but he kind of hides it from, the girl that he cares about. Of course, she already knows, and she has feelings for him. This is from the clips that I watched. All in all, I really loved the pilot episode, and I went ahead and bought the entire first season of Sleepy Hollow. So what I'm actually going to do is once a week, I will be talking about whatever episode I watched. I'm not really in a hurry to get to the second one, even though the first one was they're mowing. Absolutely amazing. I loved it so much. But I kind of want to make it a weekly thing and everything. So I am going to end it here, and I will leave you guys until next time. Bye.